Okay, so the elevator is finally completed. It took me about 30 hours total to build. It's definitely the most complex component in the Empennage kit. So the elevator instruction lays out the whole installation process as a few sub-assemblies. I think the major ones are the counterweight assembly, the main spar, the skin, and trim motor. And the techniques involved to get these parts together are actually pretty standard. Uh, it's following the same exact steps as I was doing for rudders and horizontal stabilizers and everything else. You just take out the part, click them together, match drill if necessary, then unclick them, vacuum clean, deeper dimple or countersink. I don't think I did that. I don't think I had that. I had to do any countersinking in the elevator except for the trim motor stuff. But yeah, so after the parts are prepared, you just put them back together, clico and rivet. Here you can see I'm fitting the components together for the main spar. Um, in my opinion, this is the center of the structural components of the elevator. So I try to match the holes as precisely as possible and try to not match drill at all if possible. I still ended up, I think, match drilled a few holes, the 4.8 millimeter holes at the end, but definitely try to avoid drilling just to keep the holes as precise as possible, as tight as possible. So after fitting the spars on the assembly, I took them apart and give them some clean, deeper, and priming before putting them back together. So here you can see I'm dimpling one of the ribs on the elevator assembly. It happened after the priming, but it would have been better if I did the dimple before the prime, so the prime paint will stay more intact that way. But since priming is an optional step, so I don't think this will be a big deal. And finally, after dimpling and priming, all the prep work is done. I started to rivet everything together on the main spar assembly. After the main elevator spar assembly is completed, it acts as a skeleton to start installing the skins from both sides. So the left skin and the right skin is a little different. The left skin has a little bit more, few more parts than the right skin, so it's more complete. Complex, and I actually started on the left skin just to make sure I got everything right before doing the right skin. So there's here you can see I'm installing the inspection hatch, or what do you call it, the inspection cover things onto the left skin. It's on the bottom side. So just a few holes to match drill, deburr, and just rivet them together. And there's also a cover piece on the inspection hatch or inspection panel. So I did that as well. And I think this is going to be the access point for installing the trim motor later on in the process. And here you can see I'm trying to fit both skins onto the elevator spar assembly. The parts are a little bulky since the skin is very flexible, and I didn't want to accidentally bend them or create any kink on the surface. So I moved slowly and then tried to line up every hole as closely as I can on both sides. So once the skin is fitted, the holes are lined up. The last step is actually the fun part. You can see I'm just dropping the rivets into the holes and pulling the trigger on my rivet gun. So that was really fun. So after most of the skin is completed, I move on to building the elevator tip. So there are two pieces that forms the tip. There's the skin, the top skin, and also comes with the fiberglass parts. So the rough sequence is essentially I kind of started by forming the top skin to conform the shape with the fiberglass so they can mate together properly. So to do that, I used a metal pipe, just kind of rolled the metal pipe against as close as possible against the band to the top skin, and then kind of widened the bending angle on the top skin. Then I just kind of do it a few times and click it onto the main skin assembly and test fit with the fiberglass until they kind of fit together properly. So the next step is to fit the fiberglass leading edge as closely as possible to the top skin without leaving any gaps. So to do that, I just use a ratchet strap to apply some pressure, just a little bit pressure, kind of between along the cord line of the elevator, and kind of squeeze the fiberglass and the skin together, especially at the front part. I think at the end I got nearly zero space on the left edge and had about 1/16 of a gap on the right side. And I think the 1/16 is fine. I'll probably just patch it up using some body filler or something. Once the fiberglass and the top skin are secured nicely together, it comes the scary part, which is drilling, match drilling. So I kind of just did it very slowly. There are several holes at the leading edge side that needs to be dimpled, and so I drilled them using the 2.8 millimeter drill bits, and for the rest of them, that just requires the regular dome shaped rivets. I just use the same standard 3.2 millimeter drill bits. So then it comes to dimpling the top skin, and the fiberglass needs to be countersunk. So the dimpling was pretty straightforward, and for the countersink process, you might notice that I actually used a little piece of aluminum as a shim under the microstop. So this is necessary to keep the bottom of the microstop laying flat on the fiberglass as I drill down it, because there's a tiny lip on the fiberglass that kind of basically makes the holes maybe like half a millimeter lower than the rest of the fiberglass component. So that's needed to insert the whole piece into the skin and keep the outside flush. So the hole was actually lower to account for the thickness of the aluminum pieces, but that the thickness difference made the microstop uneven and as I was drilling it. So I just kind of inserted a aluminum shim to keep the bits flat when I was drilling. So that worked out pretty. So after all the prep work, including deburring, cleaning, dimpling, countersinking, everything, I was finally able to put everything back together with Clico, and the holes lined up almost perfectly. So I was able to just insert the rivets and permanently secure them together. Then the last piece that I needed to assemble is the trim tab on the elevator. So here you can see I'm just kind of clicking the the pieces together. There's the skin, the channel, and the piano hinge. So once the holes lined up using the clicos, I was able to just put the rivets in and secure them together. Oh, one thing I wanted to note is that on one side of the trim tab, the regular 3.2 millimeter rivets are too long to fit in there fully, so I needed to make a bunch of rivets shorter, which is essentially you put the rivets on a vase or something, and then just kind of hammer out the mandrel, then use the flush cutter to cut the stem part of the rivet short, I cut them from 8 millimeters to 5 to 6 millimeters. Then just put the mandrels in, and then the rivets is generally shorter. Now I can use it to insert into the holes with tighter space on the trim. So I think that was about 30 rivets or so that needed to be shortened. So then the last step is to just simply connecting the trim with the elevator through the piano hinge, and there's just a one simple line of rivets that I need to install, and that's it. With that, the elevator is officially complete.